on Montana's news leader.
For the first time, Senator Al Franken is speaking out about the sexual harassment allegations against him. I'm Hannah Doba with details on what he had to say.
I'm Kenneth Webb in Bozeman. Colder weather is on the way. Find out the tips on how you can be safe out on the ice in just a few minutes.
Oh, it doesn't seem like we're going to be talking about ice too terribly soon with how warm it was this weekend.
We could be on those area passes, certainly, and temperatures are going to cool down. Right now we're dealing with rain showers mainly for the valleys, and at times a little on the heavier side. We could see a little snow trying to mix in later this morning. Ice impact mainly at pass level. It's getting onto the slick side, but generally it's going to be the wind that we're going to deal with early on. Look at these temperatures. Everybody above the freezing mark. Very mild conditions to start the morning. Most of the moisture that we're seeing is in the form of rain. We could see some snow on a few of the mountain passes, but again, wet roadways to start your morning for most of the area. Temperatures expected to cool down. We'll talk about that cool down coming up in just a couple minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Now 6:31 here on your soggy Monday morning. Minnesota Senator Al Franken is speaking publicly for the first time since now being accused by 4 women of sexual misconduct. The House, meantime, is getting set to vote on a measure to help better deal with inappropriate behavior in its ranks. CBS's Hannah Doba is in New York with our latest.
Minnesota Senator Al Franken is returning to Capitol Hill today, about a week and a half since being accused of sexual misconduct.
This whole thing has been, embarrassing.
Franken yesterday granted his first round of interviews since the allegations. He told Minnesota Public Radio he has a lot of work to do to regain the trust of his friends, colleagues, and his constituents.
Some women have said that I crossed the line, and for that I'm very sorry.
Franken was first accused of sexual misconduct by radio broadcaster Leanne Tweeden, who said that he had forcibly kissed her during a USO trip. She also released a photo of Franken posing with his hands over her chest back in 2009, before the former comedian was elected senator. Another woman claims she was groped during the 2010 Minnesota State Fair. And 2 others recently told the Huffington Post Franken touched their buttocks during separate campaign events. And although the 2-term senator insists he has no intention of resigning, some say if he did step down, that would not be disastrous for Democrats.
Not only would he likely be replaced by a Democrat, he would probably be replaced by a Democratic woman, given the very strong ranks of women in Minnesota politics.
The House will vote this week on a resolution requiring all lawmakers and staff to complete anti-harassment training. Hannah Doba, CBS News.
Now, Senator Franken says he is fully cooperating with ethics investigations into claims going against him. In news a little bit closer to home this morning, a 3-car accident involving an elk sent 5 people to the hospital on Friday night. The accident occurred sometime before 9 on Norris Road near mile marker 16. One vehicle struck an elk rolling off the roadway. 2 others crashed while trying to avoid the elk, but both ended up striking the animal. 4 people were transported by ambulance to Bozeman Deaconess Hospital, and 1 person was airlifted after being ejected from the vehicle. The elk was killed in that crash. And the Montana Highway Patrol Trooper Alex Velasquez says when encountering an animal on the roadway, keep your wheels straight and avoid braking to cause rollovers. Make sure you always wear your seatbelt as well. And it's a sigh of relief from Fish, Wildlife and Parks as chronic wasting disease test results from samples collected last week all came back negative. Now, this news comes after positive tests were successive in the last 2 weeks. Fish, Wildlife and Parks is currently operating a surveillance effort in south central Montana, the area where the disease was first discovered in Montana this fall. This effort has entailed collecting samples from deer, elk, and moose at the check stations within priority surveillance area. Hunters have been a huge help to Fish, Wildlife and Parks. Though there is no evidence that the disease is transmissible to humans, it is recommended to never eat an animal that appears to be sick or also known to be positive for that disease. And 2 public meetings are scheduled for November 29th at the Bridger Civic Center around 5 p.m. and the Mountain View Elementary School in Red Lodge at 7:30. Meetings will give the public a chance to learn about chronic wasting disease and ask Fish, Wildlife and Park questions about the disease and their response to that plan. And yesterday marked the last day of general hunting season. The 6-week-long firearms season is most popular for hunters to pursue deer and elk, but Fish, Wildlife and Parks is prepared to have what game managers refer to as shoulder season, so hunters will be able to continue hunting elk. The shoulder season is a way to control overpopulation of animals. It will start in a few weeks and go into February. MTN spoke with a game warden who says it's bittersweet that hunting season is over, seeing that most wardens are working nonstop to make sure hunters are being safe and following the rules. She tells us that not many people went out on Sunday, and weather may have played a big role in that.
I don't know if it's the wind or the warmer weather, but I haven't checked very many hunters today compared to the beginning of the season. But the beginning of the season, we had an early snowfall in the beginning of November, and then it stuck around for a couple of weeks, and so that created a lot of activity with the wildlife, and I saw a lot more hunting going on during that time frame. But it was a good season overall. I know that we're like even above average on our elk harvest and our deer.
Now, to see when the elk shoulder season begins, you can find a link on our websites. And with recent spring-like temperatures, colder weather is lurking around the corner. For some area ponds and lakes beginning to freeze, MTN's Kenneth Webb tells us some safety tips before venturing out onto the ice.
So if someone falls into the ice, the first thing you need to do, if you are the victim, we'll go the victim first. If you're the victim, stay calm. The faster you move around, the more your body is expending energy. First, try to self-extricate, pull yourself out. If you cannot do that, just hold onto the ice shelf and wait.
When venturing out onto the ice, make sure the ice is thick enough before walking on it. According to the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, 2 inches or less of ice is considered unsafe. 4 inches is safe to ice fish on, and 5 to 6 inches is thick enough for a snowmobile. You only have minutes before hypothermia sets in if you fall in.
So once falling in, depending on how cold the water is, 2 to 3 minutes could happen instantly, hypothermia. That's where probably if you're exerting your energy and you're panicking, you could also cause yourself to drown, splashing water in your face, trying to scream at the same time. So it's just recommended to try to just stay calm, recollect your thoughts, and be patient, because we're here as fast as possible. As soon as we get that call, we'll be there.
If you do fall in, make sure you call 911 immediately.
Hopefully someone's around to call 911. If it's you, hopefully your phone still works to call 911 instantly. The person on the shore should be able to try to throw a rope to you or reach with a ladder, rake, or something to pull you in, but don't step onto the ice if you're going to try to rescue. And if none of that works, you're going to have to wait for rescuers to arrive.
With the temperatures fluctuating above and below freezing each day, the fire department is recommending to just stay clear of the ice this early in the season.
My recommendation is stay clear until we get a nice long freeze, which probably won't be until late into the winter season, is when it's going to be really sturdy and you know that you're going to be able to walk across. So of all avoidance, try to keep your dogs on a leash so they don't venture out. Try to keep your kids away from the shore. Just try to steer clear. It's not going to be safe for a while.
It is always recommended for you to be safe rather than sorry when venturing out onto the ice. Reporting from Bozeman, Kenneth Webb, MTN News.
It's 6:39 here on this wet Monday morning, Wednesday almost. Stay with us. Up next, a story out of the Rohingya Muslim genocide crisis. The Pope visits Myanmar and Bangladesh next, but first a little look ahead at CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead here on CBS This Morning, we'll hear from Senator Al Franken since being accused of sexual harassment. The reporter who got the interview is here. And another royal wedding is now in the works as Prince Harry announces his engagement to actress Meghan Markle. We needed that good news. See you right at 7.